Welcome to the Sober Edge podcast, inspiration for alcohol-free living. I'm your host, Terry Patterson, functional nutritionist and This Naked Mind senior coach. The Sober Edge is a place to explore the infinite possibilities on the other side of drinking. In a culture soaked in booze, discover the wonder and joy of taking a different path. Meet real people living lives of purpose and passion, learn the truth behind the alcohol myths, and get ready to be motivated, inspired, and astounded by what is possible with the Sober Edge. Well, hey, I just wanted to set up this episode because I'm calling this a bit of a mini episode. And what I'm thinking is that here we are in the midst of summer, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, or the midst of winter if you're one of my Australian friends. But I wanted to think about how do we get bite-sized pieces of information or hacks that we can use that don't require us to listen to maybe what is my typical 1-hour episode. So today I am sharing an episode on gratitude that is short. I think the whole episode will be less than 20 minutes. And so I just wanted to offer this idea of how we amplify gratitude and what it means to have a gratitude practice, why it's important, a little bit about the difference between gratitude and thankfulness, and then my special little tip where I like to help people go deeper, something that I call 3 layers deep. So I hope this resonates with you. I hope you find it helpful. Let me know if you enjoy these little mini episodes. I'm traveling next week, so I'm going to give you a way back Wednesday episode that I love. And then I'm going to populate the podcast with a few more mini episodes as we round out the summer. If you're traveling like I am, or maybe going to an event, because I'm hosting a retreat here in Nevada City for my fellow alcohol-free coaches. So exciting. I want to invite you to just lean into the idea of getting these bite-sized bits of information and connection with me and other people on this alcohol-free journey. I hope you enjoy. All right. Well, it's Terry back with another edition of the Sober Edge podcast. And today I want to talk about a topic that comes up a lot in the work that I do, coaching people around alcohol and also after alcohol. And that is the practice of gratitude. And I had to look back and see if I'd actually recorded an episode on gratitude before, because again, it's something I talk about a lot. And why? Well, we know that one of the things that is true is that where our attention goes, energy flows. And so when we are attracting the things we don't want to have happen, I'm such a failure. Why do I keep drinking? Life isn't working out for me. Everything feels so hard. There's so much stress in my life. We see more of the difficult things in our life. We find it more challenging to feel uplifted and positive. And of course, when we're focusing on all the things that are going well and are going right in our life, then we're going to see more of those. So again, where our attention goes, energy flows. And that also is something that you've probably heard me say before, but it really is true. If you've ever been around people who are kind of those complainers or energy vampires, or they just have more negative thoughts and expressions than most people, you'll often find that it seems like life isn't going very well for them. Like all of the bad things are happening to them. And when you have that positive, upbeat friend who focuses on the silver lining, you will often see that they get more good things in their life. And so we can see very clearly that what we put out in the world, the energy that we extend to the universe comes back to us. And sometimes it comes back to us like tenfold. So the other reason to think about practicing a specific gratitude practice is that it's been proven that gratitude has an impact on our well-being, on our overall quality of life, which actually equals to a longer life, to longevity. And so it impacts our emotional well-being, our psychological well-being, and our physical well-being. And so, what is gratitude exactly? So, it's a little bit different than just being thankful. Gratitude really goes deeper. And what I want to talk to you today about is how do we enhance maybe the gratitude practice that we already have? So, I have a couple of examples. When I first wanted to have a gratitude practice, first of all, I thought that I should have a certain practice, that it should look a certain way. And who did I compare myself to but Oprah Winfrey? Yeah, I thought I was going to just pick up a pen and suddenly have a journaling or gratitude practice that looked like Oprah Winfrey. And when I couldn't do that, when it didn't work for me to write down my gratitudes at night, when I couldn't come up with these beautiful, lofty, fabulous, deep, emotive expressions, I thought, I can't do this. And so I stopped trying. But about a year after I became alcohol free, I was really noticing that I was much more able to do the things in my life that I'd always wanted to do. Those things that helped me feel like I was showing up for life in ways that felt good and positive. And I was actively creating the life I wanted for so long when I was drinking. For years and years, I felt like my life was just passing by without much input from me. And so by creating a gratitude practice, I really wanted to start to control more of how I attracted good things into my life. And so I decided that I needed to lower the bar. And I think there's an episode in the podcast, maybe in the beginning, where I talk about the idea of lowering the bar. And what I really needed to do was just start small and get started. Often, at least for me, having a very lofty goal and wanting to make it perfect can keep me from even taking the first step. So I decided early on that I would just list 5 things each day that I was grateful for. And they were going to be the 5 things from the day before because I wanted to do them first thing in the morning. I am a morning person. I am definitely the lark, not the owl. And so my energy is flowing in the morning. And so I started just simply writing a sentence or two about the things that I was grateful for. And I stopped at 5. And I have been doing this practice now for almost 8 years. 7 years, I guess. And so that made all the difference. And the way that I have noticed it showing up in my life is that I feel more positive. I mean, it really does demand that I focus my energy first thing in the morning toward what is going well. Now, I recently coached in a group where the participants came into a 90-day alcohol-free program, and they were instructed to create a gratitude list each day of 20 things. And one of the things that I noticed was that in the beginning, many of the participants loved this activity. But towards the end, 70 days, 80 days, they started to feel like they were just phoning it in, like they were no longer really feeling the benefits of the gratitude practice. And in fact, with a list of 20 things required, they were often just using the same 20 items that they had the day before. And they were often very simplistic. I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for clean water. And so they didn't really feel like it was a true gratitude practice. And I would offer that maybe it wasn't, because what had happened, and this can happen for many of us, is that things can start to feel sort of flat or rote. And so, how have I kept my gratitude practice fresh for 7 plus years. Well, one of the things that I discovered is that I like to go 3 layers deep. And so I'm going to tell you what this strategy is. But first, I'll say that I don't always go 3 layers deep with all 5 of my gratitudes every single day. But when things start to feel a little dull or a little rote, and I feel like my participants did in the group, that they were just phoning it in, then I remind myself that I can do better. I can go deeper. I can get more out of my simple gratitude practice. I don't have to write more things. I don't have to do more activity. I just have to look a little deeper. So here is what I love to share with clients is this idea of 3 layers deep. And I'll share an example that came up on the coaching call with this group. So there was a gentleman on the call and he brought up this issue and he was sort of grumbling about it, and several of the other participants were chiming in that yes, this list of 20 just wasn't working for them anymore, or maybe never. And so I asked him, I said, so can you give me example of something that you're grateful for? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he looked around and there was a picture of a cat, his cat, on his desk. And he said, I guess I'm grateful for my cat. And so that was the first layer. And then I asked him, so tell me why you're grateful for your cat. What is it about that cat that makes it special? And he said, well, he's kind of a goofy cat. Like he does things most cats don't do. And he makes me laugh every day. And I said, okay, so now we're at layer 2. I'm grateful for my cat. And I'm grateful because my cat makes me laugh every day. And so then I asked him the third layer. I said, and what is laughing every day? Why are you grateful to be able to laugh every day? And he said, yeah, I am grateful for laughter in my life because it reminds me that even though things are hard, there is joy and there is laughter and there's lightness in every single day. And by the time we had done this 3 layers deep exercise, the gratitude that had felt very rote about his cat became much more meaningful. And he had a big smile on his face. And it was a moment where we could really see that just going a little deeper, just being more reflective and doing it in a way where we build on the first thought to the second thought to the third thought can really help us get so much more out of our gratitude practice. So if you are someone who is wanting to have a gratitude practice or wanting to get back to a gratitude practice, I want to invite you to consider these options. First of all, you can lower the bar. You can absolutely do less items and you can do them at a different time of day, and you can do them in a way that feels fresh and unique and simple for you. Because this doesn't have to be a complicated process. The most important thing is to start the practice, because the gifts of training our attention toward where we want to go versus where we don't want to go are something we don't want to postpone. We don't want to put off feeling better. We don't want to put off using the benefits of gratitude. So if you find that you are experiencing kind of this flatness around gratitude, or you're not really sure how to use this practice to really feel like you are being more than just thankful, but that you're actually instilling a deep awareness of gratitude in your life, I want to invite you to try the 3 layers deep. It's been a powerful motivator in my life and in many of my clients. So I think that that's one way. And then the second way that I'll share that I think is also really cool and exciting came from a client when we had a conversation just this last week. And she said that she had found someone online who had said that they do a list of 100 things they love. And so my client decided she was going to write 100 things that she loves. And let me tell you, this is challenging because for most of us, we can come up with a handful. Maybe we can come up with 7 or 17 things. But to get to 100 involves really embracing the fullness of this exercise and thinking outside of the box. So, one of the things that my client and I talked about was this beautiful idea of going a little deeper. Again, not exactly the same as 3 layers deep, but just using this exercise to think, well, instead of saying, I love flowers, she was saying, I love ranunculus. They're my favorite flower. I love peonies. I love the way they're only have such a short season, and I look for them and delight in them. So we can start to say beyond just I love flowers, we can start to think about the beautiful differential parts of different flowers, the different colors. She said, first of all, it took her about a day and a half to come up with the list of 100 things. And I think that that's beautiful because it shows real intention and thoughtfulness behind what are 100 things that I love. And again, I think it's easy for all of us to come up with those first few things, but maybe more challenging to keep going, to keep going. And so perhaps you have a child or a grandchild in their life, and you might say, I love Christy. Making up a name here. But beyond I love Christy, you could say, I love the way her hair smells. I love her smile. I love that she gets up in the morning and is thoughtful and quiet. I mean, just keep going. And then you have an entire delightful list of what you love about a person, a flower. My client also talked about doing this with colors. She started thinking, well, I love the color pink. I love that hot, bright pink because it's vibrant and it makes me think of fun. I mean, you can see how your brain will start to play along when you give it the cue of thinking of something you love. And as we were talking, I said, I could see that another way, if you're moving through the 100 things and you get stuck on 61 or 62, think about smells that you love. Think about flavors that you love. I'm a foodie, so that's easy for me. Think about some of your favorite foods, maybe. Think about some of your favorite places. Do you love the ocean? Why? Do you love the beach, like the sand in the ocean, more than you love the ocean? Do you love, like I do you love snorkeling? What is it about snorkeling? And so I think that this is a way where we can really, once again, think about gratitude in a new way. And the power of gratitude is, again, reflecting on what we want to see more of in our life. One of the things that happens when we're getting ready or preparing or thinking about letting go of alcohol is it's really easy for our brain to tell us all the things we're going to miss, all the things we're going to miss out on. And so it's so important to help our brain recognize not what we're giving up, but what we're gaining. One of my sister-in-laws was very fond of saying, tell me what you want, not what you don't want. So the next time you hear your brain saying, oh, I don't want to have to think about dinner, just even that simple phrase, tell me what you want. Oh, I want to find something simple and delicious to eat. And that energy alone will attract more like energy. So, if you haven't already started a gratitude practice, I want to offer this as an opportunity to challenge yourself to get started. And then I want to offer the 100 things you love list or the 3 layers deep if your gratitude practice is feeling a little stale. Because one of the things we want to do is we want to release this big, bold energy into the world that asks for what we want. And we do that by training our brain and our attention and our mind toward what we love and what we appreciate in this one beautiful life. So, this is just a simple little exercise for you this week. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments in the show notes or hit me up with an email and tell me what you liked and where your gratitude practice is at. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to The Sober Edge. This is a place to have important conversations and a safe place to question everything you thought you knew about drinking. If you're looking for your sober edge, I invite you to connect with me at thesobernutritionist.com, where you can grab my free resource, 5 Healthy Reasons to Take a Break. And I would be grateful if you would take a moment to rate and review this podcast so together we can reach more people who are looking for their sober edge.